Happy Monday, everyone. Um, it looks like I'm not there again. The doctor's note that I had was not specific enough. It did not say exactly how many hours I could be standing, sitting, bending, walking during the day. And so, naturally, I am unable to be back in the classroom. I'm trying to have a positive attitude about it. They read my MRI on Friday and got a more specific doctor's note, which they, of course, probably won't be looking at until today. So I'm hoping I'll be back tomorrow, which is very unfortunate since you guys are doing CASP testing and I will not see all of you. But they did schedule my surgery. I didn't think I'd be able to have it for a while because my knee was really swollen. But I've been working on getting range of motion back. I've been doing my little leg lift exercises and they worked. And so they're going to get me in for surgery on Friday. So my hope and prayer is that I can be back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'll be out for another week, which is just terrible. But it'll give me a chance to keep making these videos for when I'm gone, since I'll probably be like really out of it for that week after the surgery. So this week, my goal is to make videos for that whole week that I'm gone, walk you guys through everything that you might need. I'll respond to emails if there's anything at all. This is obviously not what I had planned and not ideal. And I had a pretty crappy attitude about it at first, but it's life, you know? And so I feel bad for you guys that I'm not there, but I know that you'll be fine and you'll live without me. But I'm hoping that I'll get to see you this week because I genuinely do miss you guys and I genuinely do miss being there. Um, it's been rough, but again, it's all about mindset and I'm going to get back. I'm going to get healthy as soon as humanly possible. And that's the attitude I'm having. So this video might go into two because there's a lot that happened in these chapters that I want to talk to you guys about. So I know Principal Ricken, Mrs. Ricken, should have already come in and talked to you guys about the CASP and the importance of the CASP. I'm not going to reiterate all of that because she did a better job than I could probably ever do. But just make sure you're taking it seriously, and it's 2 days, so do your very, very best. Because she came in and talked to you guys, I know it's not a long class period today. I'm only going to have you talk to your lit circles for maybe 10 minutes because I want to really go through these chapters because there are a lot of important events that happen, okay? Before I get there, these are the newest pictures of my dogs. Nick Ross, I'm so sorry that you don't like the videos and pictures that I post, but it gives me something to do and keeps me entertained. Anywho, this is Moose on the left. He's probably the most happy out of everyone of me staying home because he just gets to cuddle with me all day. That's going to be tricky after surgery because there's no way that I'm going to be able to handle him laying on top of me like that. So he's going to be pretty sad about that. And this is Grizzly, super rough, super rough. I mean, you can just see how difficult his life is and how hard he has it. I mean, this poor dog, what he has to endure. It's terrible. Anywho, go meet with your literature circles. Okay, take about 10 minutes. Again, here's the order that you need to go. The sub, I'm going to have you, if you don't mind, pause it for right now, have them go and talk in their lit circles. Make sure you're talking quickly, going through it quickly, and then you guys will watch the rest of this video and it might kind of link into another video because I have a 15-minute limit. Okay, so go talk in your lit circles, discuss what you can, and then we will keep going. Hopefully you guys were able to talk about kind of some of the things that you may have been confused about or some of the most important parts of this chapter that you were looking at. Okay, just a heads up. So since I'll see 6th period tomorrow, I believe, and I won't see anyone on Wednesday, but then I'll see 3rd and 5th period on Thursday, I think. And so the time that you'll be in my class will be it'll be all a working day for chapters 8 through 12, which that literature circle will be Friday, which is the day of my surgery. So I'll have a video to talk about those chapters, but you're going to be preparing for them together, okay? And then the block schedule. So Tuesday, you guys will be out in the gym on Tuesday and Wednesday in the highlighted portions. Okay, so again, I'll see period 6 on Tuesday, And then I'll see period 3 and period 5 on Thursday. And those will be days, those 90 minutes will be days for you guys to read, for hopefully, if I'm there, to catch up a little bit and to talk about what you might be confused about and any questions that you have, okay? Okay, so chapters 5, 6, and 7. Here we go. So Morrison, right, we start out chapter 5 with a fully dressed woman walked out of the water. Okay, and so right away, Morrison wants us to believe that this is the embodiment of Seth's daughter, Beloved. Okay, we have lots and lots of different details that lead us to believe that. Okay, she's the same age that Beloved would have been, 20. Remember, Denver's 18, and Beloved was about 2 when Seth escaped from Sweet Home. She emerges from the water. Okay. She has a wobbly head like a newborn, right? At the bottom of page 60, it says her neck kept bending and her chin brushed the bit of lace edging her dress, okay? So that could mean a couple different things. The wobbly head like a newborn, right? They don't have the neck strength to keep their head up, but then also a little bit more morbid, right? Beloved had her throat slit. And so that could also be kind of linking back to that as well and her inability to hold her head up. Okay. She has unlined hands right at the top of 61, but their skin is not like that of the woman breathing in either steps of 1, 2, 4. She had new skin, lineless and smooth, including the knuckles of her hand, right? So just like a baby, unlined skin, baby soft complexion, right? Extreme thirst suggests a baby eager to nurse, okay? She was extremely thirsty. And then also Sethe, right when Beloved emerges out of the water, Sethe has this urgent need to go to the bathroom, right? And that goes along with the idea of the water breaking, right? If you read kind of that passage a little bit more closely, there are strong parallels. And so we have, as Beloved's emerging from this water, right, we have this idea of kind of rebirth, right? In a few different ways. The actual birth of Beloved, kind of connecting her to Seth's daughter, and then the idea of water and baptism and purification and rebirth of that as well. So think about, as we're going through, I want you to be thinking about what Beloved could symbolize, right? Obviously, Seth's child, right? But then she has some other possible interpretations as well, okay? Also, the disappearance of the dog. So some believe that dogs can sense supernatural occurrences, and the dog disappeared, right? The dog leaves. And so all of this is coming together, and her name is Beloved. Come on, okay? It does seem strange that after living with a baby ghost for years and thinking of her often, that Seth does not realize this, right? That she just she knows that the house is haunted by the baby ghost, right? By the ghost of her baby. But when this woman comes out of the water, seemingly out of nowhere, name is Beloved, all of these different things, that Sethe does not make that connection. It's a little interesting, right? This kind of could connect to the idea that the return of her daughter, she just can't conceive that. She can't even imagine that actually happening, right? Denver seems to have an idea and she loves it. She has a friend, right? Remember, she's been in 1, 2, 4 her whole life. She's been ostracized by the community. She's been alone, right? She's had her, green room, but she's been on her own. She's been missing any kind of community, any kind of identity, right? It's been her and Sethe. Okay, so she's thrilled about this. So then we go into, let's see, chapter 6, we have Sethe's storytelling, right? Her memories cause her pain in exchange for Beloved's pleasure. So as Beloved is coming back and being a part of their life, she's bringing up all of these memories in Sethe. Some memories that Sethe didn't even remember until Beloved comes back, right? So think about Beloved not just as representing the ghost of Sethe's daughter, but also the past, right? Her symbolizing the past, because as she comes and kind of encroaches on their life, all of these memories flood back to Sethe and Paul D, right? And they're not happy memories at all, right? But Beloved loves the storytelling. She loves hearing about it. And so we kind of see Sethe, she's enduring the pain of bringing back these memories for Beloved's pleasure, right? And we have multiple stories that we have that we're going to see in chapter 6 and chapter 7, right? One of them is when Setha and Hallie get married, right? And Mrs. Garner gives her the diamond. Was it? I'm trying to see what page that was on. The diamond earrings, page 71, right? And it shows some kind of um, humanity in the Garners, right? You would think, wow, how generous. But at the same time, even though the Garners, tried to treat their slaves, right? At one point, Mr. Garner says, as men, right? And we have the contrast of the Garners and school teacher. As we are going to see more details about the school teacher, he's kind of the stereotypical, extremely cruel and brutal slave owner. And we see the Garners, right? We see that they had more compassion or care for their slaves, but at the same time, Morrison is saying it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. They are still owning them. They are still dehumanizing them. They are still property. It doesn't matter how well a slave owner treats his or her slaves, right? They're still owning the slaves. And so although we have kind of this contrast, and Morrison is giving us two kind of different pictures of slave owners, she's saying they're just as bad. It's not like there's no such thing as a good slave owner, right? Despite the fact that she gave her earrings. Good for her. Okay. So as we're going through this, right, Setha is massaging Denver's wet hair with a towel. We have kind of this motif of a healing touch that we're going to see throughout this text. The characters who are incapable of escaping their painful pasts, so they minister to each other by applying fingers and hands as a kind of tangible blessing, right? They don't really know what to do. There's no way to fix it. There's no way to make it better. There's no way to say, oh, let's move on, or let's forget this, or the way that they can help and support each other is through tangibly touching, right? The motif of this healing touch. Okay, we have Paul D touching Setha's scar in chapter 1. We have Amy Denver touching Setha's feet, right? We have this idea of Setha, massaging Denver's wet hair. We're going to see kind of this motif of the healing touch. Keep an eye out for that as we go through. Okay. Again, before we move on to chapter 7, a couple more things in chapter 6, right? Some more stories that we see. We get a few more details about Setha's mother, right? We find out that she didn't really know her well, right? That they often didn't sleep in the same part of the plantation, and that her mother was hung, right? And we kind of get details that on page 74, right? That Setha's mother was raped repeatedly by white men. And kind of in the middle of page 74, she says, Nan, right, who kind of takes Setha in after her mother dies, says, she threw them all away but you, speaking of her babies that were conceived by rape, okay? The one from the crew she threw away on the island, the others from more whites she also threw away. Without names, she threw them. You she gave the name of the black man. She put her arms around him. The others she did not put her arms around. Never. Never. I'm telling you, small girl Setha. Okay, and so we have, the one baby that Setha's mother keeps is the baby of mutual, right? Affection instead of forced sexual favors, right? Instead of rape. And so we have kind of again this theme of motherhood that we have developed, okay? And I want you to remember this scene with Setha's mother, especially as we keep going. And I want you to compare the different views of motherhood and the different relationships between mothers and children that we're seeing throughout this text, okay? And then we have at the bottom of 74, Denver says, Denver hated the stories her mother told that did not concern herself, which is why Amy was all she ever asked about, okay? And so Denver, remember, oh, I'm out of time.